there who demanded to know more about social media has rescheduled everything, so we have another rising star from Lacombe, Joe and Joe. Since 2012, Joe Phillips and Joe Whitebread, Joe Phillips and Joe Whitebread, have been working with business owners and managers across Alberta to enhance communications using social platforms, and how timely. Their agency, Joe Social Media Inc., was named in 2016 by the Red Deer and District Chamber of Commerce Business of the Year, and includes a team of 10 who specialize in Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. Our agency focuses exclusively on social media, offering content management, training, public speaking in both business and schools. They say you can find them on Facebook, click away, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and LinkedIn. You'll find us walking the walk and every day. So I introduce Joe and Joe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate that very much. I'll switch the spots.
We're switching spots because I'm a mouse wiggler, and so I am not in charge of the computer today for everybody's benefit.
You'll hate that. When she mouse wiggles, it's terrible. It's nice to see you. Many of you we're connected with on social media, probably. Some of you we absolutely know. Some of you have seen or potentially have seen our work online. As mentioned, we do own a social media agency. The last 5 years, we've been working exclusively and 100% in social media for business. It is what we do. It is what we earn money doing. And we help businesses through training and corporate administration and management of social media pages for their business with ROI as the business fundamental goal.
So first of all, I want to congratulate you guys for being here and taking LinkedIn seriously, because it's the boring one, and it's the one that not a lot of us really know how to use. And it's a tremendous asset for you for that reason, because not a lot of people know how to use it. So if you can learn to use it, then it's going to be very easy for you to stand out as a business person.
So when we appear at Success for Business year after year, occasionally we've talked about social media psychology, about being online with purpose, about the need and necessity for your business to be online. Today, we've been invited to speak specifically about LinkedIn. Today's course is on social media, but it is specifically on LinkedIn. So, out of curiosity, for those in the room, with a show of hands, and if you're at the front of the room, you're welcome to look back. This poll isn't just for us, it's also for the people in the room. How many of you right now have a LinkedIn profile? Everyone at the front can look in the back. We are approximately 90, looks like 85, 90, maybe higher than 90% of the room.
How many of you have posted on your LinkedIn in the last week? Awesome.
Oh, we're about 35% of the room with their arms in the air. How many of you are on LinkedIn but have absolutely no idea why? And that is what we get time and time again. So I would pose the question, first of all, you joined. You joined for some reason. So I won't ask everyone in the room who had their hand up why you joined, but you did join. You knew there was purpose. You knew you were supposed to be there. You're a grown-up now. You have a job, you're a manager, you're part of something, and you need to put it online, but you're not quite sure why you're there. So we're here to help you navigate a little bit on LinkedIn and how to use it better.
All right, so we are going from the desktop version today. The reason we're using desktop version is because a lot of the things that we're going to show you is most easily edited on desktop. So yes, you can use your mobile, but what you'll see on here won't look like your mobile. Using the mobile app once everything is set up is a good idea, though. So if you do have a computer with you, feel free to pull it out. Don't steal from our Wi-Fi, but use some Wi-Fi and connect if you do have it.
We also wanted to use this because Jess's pretty picture and his LinkedIn portrait is on our live stream right now. That was a complete accident, but Jess Dempsey, who spoke earlier as our keynote, has already posted this morning, and that's complete coincidence, but he's on our live stream right now because Jess is using successfely LinkedIn.
Look at that haircut.
Looking good.
Looking good.
A little crooked maybe, but not terrible. Not terrible. I only say that because when Jess came to our booth this morning, I said, I love your haircut. You got a haircut for keynote. He says, it's actually crooked, but I'm going to mitigate all conversation by telling everyone it's crooked early. So
We've covered you. We've covered you for the day.
You've been mitigated.
You're welcome.
All right.
You're welcome. All right, so we're going to jump in, and we're going to start right away with your profile. So if you only fill out your profile and leave it, you're a step ahead. What you need to think of LinkedIn as is your business profile website. It's where you can put your resume online and just park it. if that's what you want to do. So we're going to start with what a good profile will look like, and you always want to go with the assumption if somebody searches me, I want them to have as much information about me as possible because they've indicated interest in me. The first thing is your profile photo.
If you are a Calgary Flames fan, or you cheer for the Green Bay Packers, or you love your dog, that is not your LinkedIn profile picture. We want to trust you. And so eyes are an extremely important part of all of your social media. It's obvious that we do business with people, and it's a personality trait to shake someone's hand and look them in the eye. And so when we want to do business with you on a business social network, we want to look you in the eye. So your photo cannot be a logo of your company. It cannot be your company truck. It cannot be your dog or your family. We love your kids, and we love that you love your kids, but it doesn't belong on LinkedIn.
So your photo should be of how you proceed in business. If somebody meets you in a business setting, this is how you would look. So if you frequently dress Western and you wear a cowboy hat to your business meetings, your photo should be you in a cowboy hat if that's how you go to a business meeting. But if you don't go to business meetings that way, the hat should not be in your photo. So it's just a really simple way to think about your photo. How do I want to present in a business meeting? I want to be recognizable. Will they recognize me from my LinkedIn photo?
Also important to realize that while on your profile page, which is your personal business website, your photo is nice, big, and bold. But for the most part, we are viewing a timeline on social media where you can see on Jest's profile photo here, not the big photo on your screen, but that little tiny circle of Jest and his awesome crooked haircut. I'm kidding, it was actually straight at that point. That's about the size that we get to get an impression of you. So when we're scrolling through a timeline, this is a live timeline, so you never know what we'll see. Ryan's here later today. That is the social profile we see. So it's important to understand that your profile photo needs to be all head and neck. If you do full body shots, perhaps you're a personal trainer and that is appropriate for your business. But otherwise, we need to see your full face and eyes, or else the smaller it gets, the more you disappear into the background, and we do not get an impression of your eyes.
So the second part of your profile is obviously your name. Use the name that you use in business. So a lot of women, if you have two last names, will put both last names in this section. If you're not using both last names in business, only use the name you are using in business. It impacts your searchability.
It's important to realize that your name is used by a number of other people as well, especially if your name is Joe Phillips or Kevin Smith or Tim Williams. Those names are generic. So it's important that you have to stand out, and that when we are searching for you on a whim, we know your name, we've met you at a business meeting or a business interaction, that there are a lot of people on LinkedIn just like you. So we have to be able to connect that to your name. That's also why your profile image is important. The
title, your job title. What a lot of people do is they just say their job title. I'm managing director of Collinsboro, or I'm president of Joe Social Media. Those titles, this may be your only opportunity to make an impression. You see how they show up on the side of a LinkedIn timeline? If your face pops up, your title also pops up. And this is your one chance, potentially, of telling somebody exactly what you do. So rather than using your title to describe your job, use this space to describe what somebody can get from you should they choose to click on your profile.
Does anyone know what independent distributor means in Ashley's job description? We can guess, right? We think we know. She potentially sells something. Maybe it's an MLM product or endorsement. I certainly don't mean to tease or make fun of Ashley, but an independent distributor is very generic. We don't know what she does. And so we have no impression of what she does if we are interested in her work. Her profile picture also is her on a paddleboard way out there. And so we have no trust in her brand or what she does immediately. So we overlook her.
So
sorry if Ashley's in the room.
And if she's not in the room. So you want to think of this as an opportunity. We always think that we know what people do. I'm a car salesman. I'm a banker. But the reality is we don't know what those job titles mean. So flesh that out. Explain what that means. And this potentially is the only opportunity you have for somebody to see what you do.
All right, up next, it's your bio. Every social media platform, no matter which social media you're on, invites you to add information about yourself. You've all written them. You've had to write them for the boss. You've had to tell people about yourself for a very long time, way before social media. Social media is a snapshot into your life at 1.1 seconds. It is so very, very important that in those 1.1 seconds you achieve an interest status in us that makes us want more. And so it is very important, if you are not a good writer, if you aren't good at spelling or grammar, or if you can't do those bios, that you get someone who is good at it to do it for you. Because it is important that you represent yourself on your social website the best way possible.
So if somebody has indicated enough interest in you that they're actually clicking through to your profile and they're going to look at your summary, then your summary should be written well enough that they're going to understand what they're going to get from you should they choose to do business with you. So that means they should be written from a first-person point of view. This is not Joe Whitbread does this. This is I do this. This is why I do it. In your summary, you should explain how you got to where you are, and you should use language that somebody would get from you if they spoke to you in real life. So if you speak very simply, your summary should be written very simply. If you're a very complicated and technical speaker and you use really big words and people have to take a moment to digest what you've said, then make sure that's in there, because this is an indication of what they're going to get in doing business with you, and we're all attracted to a certain kind of personality. If that is your personality, own it and make sure that that's in your summary.
Of note, if you're writing your summary between November and March, it should be a wintry. That's just a joke.
Oh. And there's no warning in his summary that
No.
you will get bad jokes.
It's a summary,
there's no
it's a
warning
wintry,
anywhere.
it's kind of funny.
But
it's
you
not.
will see in my summary that there's a Bon Jovi quote.
Yeah.
And you will get a Bon Jovi quote from me constantly.
All right, we're going to scroll down to your experience. Your experience is your resume. LinkedIn, yes, it's a resume. No, it is not a place to go searching for a job necessarily. It's not a place to go find labor necessarily, although those can be done. It is a place to expose yourself to a greater audience in marketing and that represents your business. And so your experience is increasingly important as you grow older because you have had jobs. You and we in this room are the very first generation of adults who didn't grow up on the internet but had to join midway through. So we had to tell people about our jobs if they were relevant and important through our teenage years. But we told them after the fact. Right now, and when we speak in schools, we're telling kids to start their digital history immediately because now their resume is relevant and it will be relevant tomorrow when they apply for other jobs. We aren't.
So on this part, on the experience part, you want to flesh out your most current job or your most important job. You want to have that as fleshed out as possible. You talk about every part of your job because if they get to this point, then they're very interested in you. You want to make sure that there's photos and videos attached to the most important parts of your resume because our eyes are drawn to color and our eyes are drawn to movement and our eyes are drawn to photos. And so if they're not going to read the text, you can pull their eyes to the text by using photos. So don't include photos on the parts of your resume that you don't necessarily want to highlight. Do include photos on the parts that you want eyes drawn to.
That's us at Success for Business last year, which is part of our LinkedIn. When you go through, you'll find that when you include photos, you're forced to stop. It's the reason Instagram is even a thing. Instagram stops us dead in our tracks because we see what we feel is interesting. Facebook, when you go through and you just see people writing, occasionally you'll stop. But if you see a photo, it'll stop you. And so the same thing happens when you get the opportunity to connect. And we're going to share on how you get the opportunity to connect shortly.
All right, the next part of your LinkedIn profile is endorsements. Nobody really knows what endorsements are for because everyone just throws them out there. And we're going to get to some excellent uses of endorsements. But your endorsements are what people have said you're good at. And they're very easy to give. You do want to limit your endorsements, and you can go into edit and cut these down. Because does anyone really need to know you're good at Microsoft? Likely not. So keep your endorsements limited to the things that you want to be known for in your current job. That means if you change a job, change your endorsements so that you can start to build those endorsements in the direction that you've moved.
It's not deleting, it's just hiding.
Yes. Yes, and so that way you'll build your endorsements in the area that you want to be built, because those will show up more often. Yeah. Are these valuable? Not really. They're not. They're valuable for cold calling, which we'll get to.
Yeah. Important to understand that you can be endorsed for things that aren't on your list. If you meet someone and you're very good at woodworking and that's not what you do for a living, someone might endorse you for woodworking. And that's okay. You want that endorsement because you're good at woodworking. So people can fill in or write in ballots, so to speak.
Write in ballots. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
We
All
need
right. So that is so you can create this. You should create to your skill level. If the amount of people that are social media experts is unbelievable to me. The amount of people that want to be endorsed as a social media person but don't understand LinkedIn is quite phenomenal. So careful that you're being endorsed for the things you do understand and are good at.
The next on your list is recommendations. Recommendations are much more valuable because somebody has to deliberately take some time to write these and send them to you. Plus, they're attaching their reputation to you by providing you with one online. So these are valuable. When somebody provides you with a recommendation, there's a level of safety for you because it won't go onto your profile until you approve it. So what will happen is you ask somebody, hey, we had a great experience together. Do you mind if you write me a recommendation? They'll write you a recommendation, and it'll go to your inbox. And it'll say, Sheena wrote you a recommendation. And then you can read it. You can ask them to edit it if there's stuff in there that you don't want. And if you like it and you're good with it, then you can attach it to your profile. So there's zero risk with having a recommendation written for you. Nobody can put something trashy or something against you through this feature on your page.
There's a few best practices for LinkedIn. Some will still go over, but one of those best practices is in asking for recommendations. When you have a successful client visit or a successful client call or a successful customer service finalized, make sure you're asking for a recommendation on something like LinkedIn. That is invaluable to attach to something that, of course, you trust.
Yeah.
Remember to only ask for recommendations from businesses or associates that you want to be attached to, because you are now attached to them, although you can delete them. There's a question right there.
And
If the person isn't on LinkedIn, can they still go on there to give you a recommendation?
no. Yeah. And then opposite to that, make sure you give recommendations. If you have a good experience, a good work experience with somebody, help them build by offering them a recommendation as well. All you have to do is go to your profile, go to the recommendation section, and click on write a recommendation.
Awesome. All right.
Okay, that was really quick on the profile. So if you stop at this point and you don't want to participate in the rest of LinkedIn, at least you've got to this point. At least if somebody decides, hey, I want to check them out, they're going to get a really good picture of who you are. And that's important. So at the very minimum with your LinkedIn page, go in and make your profile beautiful.
And keep it up to date. Careful with tomorrow or today or this week or last week. Keep it up to date it's 2017, right? It's important not to say tomorrow because if you're one of those people that put your hand up and you're not using it and you haven't checked in for the last 28 weeks, then it's not yesterday anymore, right? You haven't been with a company for 25 years. You've been with them for 26 years now because you haven't been in all year, okay?
So if we can go back to profile.
Sure.
You have the option of checking out what your profile, your public profile looks like, and you have the option of editing what somebody can see on your public profile. Your public profile is what somebody who's not connected to you will see if they click on your name or if they search you. So you can edit this public profile, make as much public that you're comfortable with. Remember that this is potentially a sales opportunity, and so you want as much possible. Do they need to know where you went to high school? Probably not. You don't need to tell them you speak English in Central Alberta. That's a safe assumption. So be specific. And then you have the option of creating your public profile badge. You can add this to your email, you can add this to your website, and that means if somebody wants to click further and find out more about you as a professional, all they have to do is click on this and it will take them to your public profile on LinkedIn.
The important thing to understand about where social media is going is it attaches itself to businesses. How many people have seen a Facebook F or a Twitter birdie or an Instagram camera or a LinkedIn on a business card? Or you've seen it on an email signature? Or some businesses are now putting them on stickers on their doors, on their trucks. Social media is attaching itself like never before to your business. And by the way, there's some radio people in the room. First radio station to offer app stickers for purchasers of radio contracts and put it on their door, no different than a Twitter birdie or a Facebook. Have businesses brag that they're on your radio station. I know you do car stickers, but do it on the door, just like the Facebook app, Vanessa. It's a brilliant idea. No one's touching it, and you guys should do it. Because
Yeah, heard it here first.
put it on your business cards. We're on Craze. We're on Sunny. We're on
Yeah, that's a
Real
really good
Country.
idea. So use your public profile for this reason. Also with your public profile, you can actually edit your URL. So your URL right now is whatever LinkedIn has assigned to you. Across platforms, I'm known as Joe Out Loud because there are a million Joe Phillipses. And so my LinkedIn URL is also Joe Out Loud. That makes it so that on a business card, all I have to do is put @JoeOutLoud. And if you enter @JoeOutLoud on any platform, you will find me.
Yep.
So edit your URL to make sure that it's related to who you are professionally.
Hey, look, thanks, Joanne. Here we are live. Weird. It's like the Matrix.
Your
There we
hair's
are.
crooked. His hair's crooked too.
My hair is totally crooked and missing and missing.
And missing.
All right. So essentially using your badge in things like email signatures is a great idea. Emailing your LinkedIn, the only thing you have to realize is with the asterisk is if you're using LinkedIn. Everyone in this room said they're on LinkedIn. Almost everyone in this room said they're on LinkedIn. Time to start using it. And when you do, I promise, when you do, with a few of the tips we're still to go over here today, you will start retaining a customer base beyond what you had before. There is an audience of business owners, of non-gatekeepers on LinkedIn that are willing and watching. You just have to get into their timelines. And we're going to show you how to do that.
All right, so next up we're going to talk about connections. This is hands down the most often question we get. Who do I connect with? My LinkedIn is just a bunch of people trying to sell to me. And if it's just a bunch of people selling to you, then that means you're not connected in a broad enough way.
That's right.
So the first answer to who I connect with is, will I at some point in the next year be in a business room with this person? So take a look around. Who should you be connected with? Every single person in this room is a valuable connection to you because they are a part of your business network. So think about all the rooms you go to. If you're at the United Way breakfast lunch, that's a room of 400 people. Are you connected to them? So make sure that you're connected to people you will be in a business room with, and then provide enough content so next year when you're in that business room, they come up to you and shake your hand and say, hey, Kelly, it's good to see you, because they feel like they know you.
You may have not met the counselors or the counselors that want to be counselors in our current election. You may not have met our mayor, but you are a business person in central Alberta, and the mayor and those counselors are important to your business. Should you be connected to politicians in your community? You're darn right you should, and they want to connect with you. And that, in essence, is the epitome of what LinkedIn is. You can be connected to the mayor of this city, or the city you're from, or the city you grew up in, or the larger city. You can be connected to the mayor. Guess what the mayor wants? Your vote, your input. They want a relationship with you. And that's just the mayor. Now put that into perspective of CEOs of companies, people in charge. If you're in sales, in any sort of sales, and I know there's lots of people in the room who are in sales who have to go through a receptionist or an office manager or a gatekeeper before you get to the decision maker, LinkedIn allows you to jump, hurdle all those people, or connect with all of those people. So the next time you call or email or text or tweet, they'll recognize you. Your cold call is no longer cold, it's warm.
Yep. A great example, we were speaking with an agricultural company the other day. They sell tractors, heavy machinery. And they said, well, on LinkedIn, there's not a lot of people that are going to buy that from us. And I said, I have 2 clients that are in agriculture. So does that mean that you need to be telling me what you do? Absolutely, because then I can refer you. So don't limit yourself to that direct contact, and make sure that everybody knows what you do.
We really have returned to the time in the 1900s where we want to know the baker and the butcher and the candlestick maker, right? While we have big box stores and we have gone global, we are coming back on things like social media to a place where we get to know the baker.
I would like to know a candlestick maker.
Yeah,
That would be cool.
that's a little odd.
Yeah.
Unless you're in candlesticks, then I think it's an awesome business. So it's really important that you realize that your connection is valuable. Facebook has friends. It's for friends and family, unless you're a business. And then it's not about friends. It's about the exact same philosophy. You have to connect with people who might refer you. Not just customers, or might be customers, people that will refer you. That is what LinkedIn is. Everyone thinks it's a job app site, and it's certainly a great place to further your career and find a job. But it's absolutely about connecting with people who can get you referrals.
Yeah. All right, so that doesn't mean you connect with everybody.
No.
When somebody sends you a connection request, you do have to vet it. You do have to take a look and see, is this person actually valid? Is this person in my area? Are they in Central Alberta, if that's where I primarily do business? Are they in Alberta, if that's where I primarily do business? Make sure that they're within that circle. And then take a look and see how many shared connections you have. LinkedIn is all about, it's like that 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. So if you guys share a lot of connections, if you click on somebody's profile and you see that you share 126 connections, that means 126 people of your business network also know that person, which means absolutely that person should be a part of your business network.
So here's an example of someone who wanted to connect with us just yesterday. This is, by the way, we weren't clear on whether internet was going to be an issue, so we went to live LinkedIn. So we created a Prezi in the background, so we'll flip back and forth. So this is a screenshot of a connection request yesterday from Mohammed Sauer. That, excuse me, that third that you see next to his name, that represents the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. That means we're a third connection. That means we don't know Mohammed.
And he doesn't know anyone that we know.
And he doesn't know anyone that we know. Because if he knew someone we knew, that would be a second connection. But he is a third connection. He knows someone who knows us.
Yeah.
No, he knows someone who knows us. Simple.
So are we going to connect with him? No, we're not.
No.
Because we don't know enough about him. And when you connect with somebody, then what you're doing is you're endorsing them. You're saying to your network, this person is okay. And so if you just accept every connection, there's a lady in California who had like 75 connections in Red Deer because one person had accepted that connection, which said, yes, she's okay, and off everybody went. And she has nothing to do with Red Deer. So take a look at your shared connections. Ladies, unfortunately, and I hate this, and I'm out to change the world on it, but I can't change the whole world, I've been told. When you get a connection request from somebody you don't know, and you click on shared connections, who else knows this person, and the entire list is female, that person is not interested in connecting with you from a business perspective. So take a look at that and make sure that there's a mix of genders in that, in your shared connections. And that will save you from getting those messages that we're all really fond of.
Yeah, that guys can't understand, but we completely empathize with. That's ridiculous.
All right.
All right. So LinkedIn is a professional network. It is for doing professional things. LinkedIn is not Facebook. One of the reasons that most men join LinkedIn. Most men don't like Facebook. They don't like the drama or what's going on Facebook. It's certainly not a female problem. It is men and women, but it's dramatic. Facebook is a social network. LinkedIn, for the most part, is not. LinkedIn is a place for business, a place to make business connections and to talk about business all the time. On the other social platforms, you've learned probably that you can't sell all the time, or some of you never sell at all, so we don't know what you do. You're just there as social. LinkedIn, you're allowed to sell. You're allowed to communicate what you do. And for that reason, it is one of the highest ROI platforms when it's used. Everyone will put your hand down after I asked if you're using it, you're not getting ROI, so you're not using it. And so it spins out of control.
So here's the beauty of LinkedIn. You only need to post good content on LinkedIn once a week, maybe 2 or 3 times a week. This is the most doable social platform there is because not everyone is providing content. And also because if somebody likes your content, it automatically bumps it back up to the top of the timeline, which means a good piece of content can last weeks versus hours.
So for example, in the timeline on the screen, we're seeing Gina, just coincidentally, we're live internet here, so Gina's post here, I'm not connected to Gina. The only reason I'm seeing this is because Carolyn, who I am connected to, commented. So you can see how you can get bumped up in the algorithm with good content. Likes are as good as shares anywhere else on LinkedIn. Yeah. You have to strategically like on LinkedIn. If you learn nothing else today, know that just liking something isn't just a like. When you like a political attack, or when you like someone's derogatory business interjection, you show up as liking it as well on my timeline, and I might be a third, fourth, or fifth party connection.
That also means that as a business, you can be strategic with your likes. So have one of you post whatever it is that's really important to be seen, and then say, okay, I need you to like this tomorrow, because then when they like it, it will bump it back up. And then assign somebody else, I need you to like this in 2 days, and it'll bump it back up. And then you'll actually get a lot of exposure that way, and potentially by the time that's happened 2 or 3 times, then your audience takes over, and that piece of content, if it's something important, will just keep traveling. We've got stuff that I posted 3 weeks ago that I'm still over and over and over, and I've forgotten that I posted it. So, so this is a really awesome part of LinkedIn, is that it really is that simple. So what do you say? What do I say on LinkedIn?
Yep.
Think of LinkedIn as a place where there are always people 2 steps behind you, and there are always people 2 steps ahead of you. Speak to the people behind you and help bring them up, and share the wisdom of the people who are ahead of you. If you do those 2 things, you're going to have a really well-rounded strategy. Now, from a business perspective, there are 5 things that we encourage you to cover. And we encourage you guys to cover these on any social platform. And if you are rounding these out, then you're never going to irritate anybody with your content.
The first thing is either never done or it is always done. And I know anyone in here and everyone in here on social media has a realtor friend. Everyone does. And I don't mean to pick on realtors. There may be realtors in the room. But how many of you have seen your realtor friend on your Facebook stand, usually like this? Because that's how realtors stand. It's part of their...
I actually think they walk that way too, in real life.
They stand next to a sign that either says for sale or sold, right? And there is usually a property in the photo, right? And it usually tells us the address and, of course, their affiliation. It's every realtor's post. It's what they do. It is okay to post that. It's a sale.
Yeah.
So selling is the first thing you need to post in your algorithm. Let's pretend it's Monday morning. Monday morning, you have a sales post that goes out on your LinkedIn or on your Facebook or on your Twitter or on your Instagram.
So tell them what you sell, how much it will cost, and if you don't have a specific number, ballpark it for less than the price of a car, and how to buy it.
It's okay to sell on social media. Just don't do it all the time, and don't do it never.
And we want you guys to think of this as drip content, because with social media, you have a large, large requirement of content. So you're only going to tell them one piece at a time. If this is a sale post, you're only going to sell one thing. You're not going to sell everything. Focus on a very specific thing, because you're going to have to do this again later in the week.
Yeah, and your competitors are doing it, so you better start talking on LinkedIn. Second thing is a feature of your business. We really like to use the analogy, that stinks, of a shoe. For the longest time, because advertising is so darn expensive, shoe companies have always sold us the shoe. There's not a shoe company in the world that hasn't shown you their shoe. Never before have you been able to sell the shoelaces. Because for $40 on the radio for 30 seconds that expires, for a billboard on the highway for $20,000 a year, for a television commercial that costs a lot of money, and for all of the other marketing, you have to sell your primary product. You have to sell the house. You have to sell the shoe. Social media through drip content allows you to sell the shoelaces, the shoe polish, the cobbler's work on the toe, the fine craftsmanship. That actually is fine craftsmanship on the stitching on the bottom. Sell the shoelaces of your business, the features of your business, and you'll start to realize that people are coming in to buy the shoes.
So in this feature post, then this can be sharing information. It can be educating people on something. It can be, think of it as the and we also. And in this post, you never sell. There is no price tag. There is no call to action. This is entirely for your audience's benefit, to help them learn more or to help them be better in relation to your product or what you sell.
Do you use rabbit ears or do you do the loop-de-loop when you tie your shoelaces? That's a social media post about shoelaces. I'm not selling you. I'm not telling you they're $9.99. They come in purple, pink, and green. Right? They're available until 5 o'clock this afternoon. Hurry down. In the middle of your posts, in your algorithm on LinkedIn, it's 3 times a week. So now we're at Thursday afternoon. You haven't posted since Monday or Tuesday. Now you're talking about brand. Your brand message is very important, whether you are your brand as a human entity or you operate as an independent sales contractor. Now you're a brand of the company. Or you operate as a marketing or PR person for a company and the brand is on display through you and your social media.
So the brand post, this is where you expose your website, your phone number, your address, what your building looks like from the outside, not just the inside, where people can park, if they have to pay for parking, all of those things that have to do specifically with your brand. And again, we're dripping it. So you'll never say, this is my website and my phone number. You'll say, here's my website, and include a link. And maybe say, here's the link, or we're selling bridal packages on sale right now. Go to our website to find out. Include a link directly to bridal packages. So this is entirely about your brand. Yes, you want your logo in it. Yes, you want your business name in it. Yes, you want your business hours. All of those things is done in this post.
If you've purchased any traditional advertising like we do, we're on buses and we're on radio. If you purchase traditional advertising, it costs a lot of marketing dollars. You can make your marketing dollars go further and more dynamic when you post them to social media also. That's why you see companies posting their bus benches, their buses, the jackets, the embroidery. It all costs money. You spent that money. The business cards in your wallet right now cost money. Next to a Tim Hortons coffee or a locally produced coffee from Doe's Coffee House in the morning with your business card, that's part of a brand post. And it goes a long way. And we get to see what you do.
So social media is 100% about building trust. Once you build trust, they will come. And the best way to build trust is by showing your audience your eyes. Sheena loves this one. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
We're only 5 minutes?
Yep.
Okay. So you want to make sure that there is a post. Your fourth content is eyes, a photo of you. Yes, you do need to let people see you. It's really important for building trust.
So people posts go farthest every single time. If you are ownership or CEO or top of the echelon in your business, you find it difficult to post a people photo because it's not selling anything. And gosh darn it, we have quotas to meet. And we are down in our sales this month, and we need to sell. It's the people posts that trick the algorithms of social media so that we see your sales post, which is coming later in the day or later in the week. Because we do care about your receptionist's new baby. And we do care about the people in the background that are cooking the meal, not the people serving it.
Yeah. In your people post, you do not want to talk business. This isn't a photo of you in front of your logo. This isn't you sitting in your truck. This is a trust-building photo, and it's authentically, totally just about you and your people. And then the last one is community. This is where you talk about your sponsorships, and your sponsorships are very important to be talked about. Those people you're sponsoring need you to talk about it, because if you're doing it, others are more likely to do it. So include in your community post, if you are sponsoring an event, include, this is what I sponsored, this is why I sponsored it, and this is how you can do it as well. And if you provide those 3 things, then you're going to actually help those people that you've sponsored. Also include in your community the things that are happening in your community. So if there's an event you're going to or an event that you're interested in, if there's a soccer team that just won nationals, all of that stuff is included in your community post as well. Congratulations to the Lacombe Generals for winning again.
Yeah. It's important to involve other people. Remember that social media is an ego stroke. You're looking for it. You're lying if you say you're not. You're hoping others will stroke your ego and say, I love your product or service, I want to endorse it, and I want to refer it to others. Yep. Remember that everyone else wants to do the exact same to you. Yep. And so you have to broadcast what's happening in your community.
So go through these 5, and once you get to community, then you're going to go back to sale. And once you go back to sale, you've started to build some trust, and you've started to build some, you've tricked Facebook's algorithms, which is awesome. Yeah. And I know we're doing LinkedIn, but this is also useful on Facebook. You go back to sales, but you've built trust. And so once that sales message comes out, then you've actually eased them into it a little bit more. And the more often you do this, the more likely that sales message, which is the most important one, because that's the one that pays our bills, will be seen and received in a positive way.
And it'll be seen for much less money. You'll get more organic reach and not have to pay for it when you can get people to like, comment, share your stuff.
Yep.
And we've shown you here on LinkedIn specifically how likes, comments, and shares are extremely important to make your content last a long time.
So there are 5 ways to cold call on LinkedIn, and we're going to cover them really quickly because we're wrapping up.
Yeah.
The first of all, we want you to be thoughtful in how you do this. The first way to cold call on LinkedIn is to endorse somebody. So if you are trying to connect with somebody or get somebody's attention, do a thoughtful endorsement. Only endorse them for one thing that you know they're good at. Don't endorse them for 5 or 4 or make them think, why did they endorse me for that? They don't even know what I do. Be thoughtful about it and make sure that it's something you know they're good at.
I've literally already endorsed you for everything, so I can't do that. And I don't want to bring up anyone's profile on a live screen. The other way to make a cold call, people who hate cold calls, it's so easy on LinkedIn, simply view their profile. It's the only social media platform where you are caught creeping. So be very careful about this also.
But don't be scared of that.
Don't be scared
This
of
is a business platform, and you should be okay with being caught creeping because it means you're showing interest in them from a professional point of view.
The moment we click on Jess's profile, I apologize, Jess, but you've been up here on stage already, and I sure appreciate you, so I'm just going to put you up here. The moment I click on Jess's profile, Jess is going to get a notification in his phone that I viewed his profile. That is a cold call. I haven't said anything, I haven't messaged him, I haven't given him my sales speech, but he saw me looking at him. And now, on a Monday or Tuesday, he's thinking, why did Joe look at me? Why?
Also, when somebody looks at your profile, it's a free pass to look at theirs. So it potentially might lead them to go look at your profile.
Absolutely.
Potentially. Next way to make a cold call, comment or like on a post. It's just a little wrap. This is all about ego and trust. So if you comment or like on one of their posts, then it is just showing up as I'm here as a professional and I'm interacting with you as a professional. That's simple enough.
And finally, you can message. You can direct message. Be very careful in spamming people. How many have received spam messages? We hate it. We don't like it. So these simple ways to cold call prior to a cold call, prior to a spam message, is to warm them up.
Yeah. So there are 2 ways to cold call with a message. The first is if somebody spams you, spam them back.
Oh, I've made so many sales by people spamming me, and I go, oh, I actually do social media. We should meet. Yeah, we should. I need help.
Yeah. So anytime somebody sends you a message that's unsolicited, then it's an open door to solicit them back. Thank you for sharing what you do. This is what I do. You might as well. They opened that door. The second is to make a connection or to send a message after you've met somebody. Don't do it while you're in the room, and don't do it on the same day. Wait a couple days, connect with them, send a message. Hey, it was really great to speak with you at Success for Business. I really like that point you made about Just Sarah. Sorry, Just.
Poor Jess.
And then you're more likely to be, first of all, you're more likely to be seen. You're building trust. You're building that relationship. And they're going to respond to you. And once they've responded to you, then another couple weeks can go by and you can send them another, hey, I hope your week is going great. Your goal is to get them to say yes to you lots of times and then eventually sell to them.
So we're wrapped up here for our LinkedIn portion. There is so much more that can be taught about LinkedIn and the other social medias, and more importantly, the psychology of social media. The reason people are using it, why users are online, why we are online, and what fetches our attention every day. We do have a booth over there, of course, and I highly encourage you to connect with people like Joe and I, and with people like Jess, and the people you're sitting with at your table.
In 2 days.
Because in 2 days, because connecting with us now, well, we just saw you. I'm going to shake your hand. Connecting with us next Monday, why are they thinking of, oh, they were there.
Yeah.
Right? So it's very important to connect with the people who are influencers in your community. We certainly are, humbly speaking, and so are some other people in this room, and we can connect your business to other people. You'd be silly not to use people like us.
So we're in the back corner of the trade show. If you want to come by, sit on the couch, take a photo. If we don't already have a photo of you on our red couch, we'd love one. And we thank you guys for listening to us and putting up with us and laughing at his jokes.
Very funny
It makes
stuff.
him feel good. And yeah, stop by and chat with us.
Thanks,
Yes.
everyone. Appreciate it very much. Thank you. We have a few, I've been told we have a few minutes to take some questions, which is very nice. So if you've got some business-related questions, LinkedIn or otherwise, just.
Question on business for LinkedIn through mobile. I hate the mobile app for LinkedIn. From a personal page, is there something I
There's nothing you don't know about that.
have the same issue.
Yeah, we all have that issue. LinkedIn is rolling out updates, as we've seen in the last 6 months. They are trying to fix things for us. It was purchased by Microsoft, which I'm sure you know, about a year and a half ago. And so we're starting to see some more user-based options. The reality is LinkedIn is older than Facebook.
Yeah.
It was created in the early 2000s, and the platform wasn't really updated until about 2 years ago.
When Microsoft
Yeah,
purchased
so
it,
they've got a lot of work to do. No, you can't easily get to your
Yeah,
business
they
page.
just introduced videos 2 weeks ago, so you can actually, I'm sure you've seen that, but you can finally do video on LinkedIn, other than linking it to a YouTube. Any questions? Yes?
In the experience section of your profile, do you list all of your life experience?
Great question.
or just the
Great question.
You're going to list all experience that is in the last 10 years for sure. And then if it goes past 10 years, if it was a job that you won awards in, or that a lot of people would know you from, then you want to include that as well. So if you worked at a coffee shop, you can leave that off. But if you were an award-winning realtor and you changed brokerages, then you absolutely want to keep that on.
Yeah, you're flipping burgers in McDonald's when you were 14. If you're now the manager or an owner of a McDonald's, that's very relevant. If you're not, it's irrelevant. So no. Remember, this is what you're on display. So
Yeah.
you had a question up here.
Yeah, can you unfollow people on LinkedIn, and can they see you when you unfollow them?
Good question.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, you can.
You can do that through managing through your My Networks. You can unconnect from people. Can they see you that you've done that? They might find out if they go to try and converse with you at some point, which means that there was. There are no messages. No, there's no message like that. No, yeah.
Now, remember, if you're going into your LinkedIn, I'll get you in just a sec, Veronica. If you're going to your LinkedIn, there is a toggle switch. I would show you, but we're running out of time here. There's a toggle switch when you go, many of you will leave this session and you'll go update your LinkedIn, because that's what a lot of people do when they learn. They're like, okay, I'm going to go do all this. Make sure your toggle switch is set, and you'll see it in your edit page, to don't notify your network, because what will happen when you go home to make 28 changes tonight, you will notify us individually of 28 different changes you made.
Yeah.
And you will, your entire network, you will make them angry.
The funniest one I ever saw was a couple years ago when somebody was updating their profile and it said, Susan now speaks English.
Yeah.
I was like, good to know, good to know.
All she did was added her first language.
Yeah.
One more question here. Yeah, Veronica.
Yes. So your connection, if you're directly connected with somebody, that's a first-degree connection. A second-degree connection means you guys share connections. Does that make sense? Okay, and then as soon as you connect with them, pardon me? Yes, as soon as you connect with them, it automatically turns them into a first degree. Yeah.
Remember that you can follow businesses online as well. So if you have a favorite business, no different than, you don't have to friend a business, you can follow them.
And we're often asked that as well, should I have a business page on LinkedIn? Our answer is, while it's free, you should build it. Because those people who built Facebook pages while they were free to build have a lot more exposure than those of us who waited until Facebook started charging for us to be seen. So, yes, absolutely.
You're very
I don't
welcome.
often do this. I'm going to do it right now, though. This is one of the most professional presentations I've witnessed in years.
Oh,
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Luckily, we do this for a living.
slip
so
you a
that's
20.
good. He hasn't.
Thank you.
That's very kind of you. I will diminish that slightly by letting you all know that my pocket square
Oh, God.
is a Tim Hortons cup that I ripped.
Okay.
And there it is. This,
So
this is my work
slightly less
day.
professional than first thought.
But I'll tell you why quickly. One, it was fast-paced. It was informative. I like the back and forth. This is not Dragon's Den, but you deserve every applause you get. Very well.
Thank you.
That's very nice. Thank you. That's very kind.
All right, thanks, guys.
So thank you.
That's kind.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you very much.
appreciate that.
That's very kind of you. Thank
No,
you.
it was well done.
All right, thanks, guys.
Here's my card.
Here's my card. And what do you do for a living, sir?
I congratulate people
Yes.
for doing a good job.
That's good.
Thanks, guys.
Enjoy your lunch. Thank you.